The secret to staying consistent with your goals is that you need to build up a daily routine. And yes, this means doing the same thing at the same time every day. Trust me, I already know what you're thinking. Won't that get boring? Isn't that too rigid? What about having fun or freedom or being spontaneous? I also used to have these concerns, and I didn't understand how the simple act of building up a routine could help me to be consistent with my goals. But honestly, building up a routine changed my life. And so in this video, we are going to talk about why building up a routine is so helpful for your brain. We are going to debunk the common concerns that I mentioned before, and at the end of the video I'll share 3 quick tips to help you build up your own routine, which is going to help you to remain consistent. So why is building up a routine helpful for your brain? Well, I'm going to guess that something that you consistently do every day without giving it much thought is brushing your teeth. This is a habit that you automatically do every day because this behavior has just become ingrained in your routine. You don't have to sit there and battle with yourself of whether to brush your teeth or not, you just get up and do it. And so you also need to start looking at the behavior that you want to be consistent with in the exact same way. To put it very simply, the brain does not want to have to make decisions every single day. This is actually very tiring and is a concept known as decision fatigue. And this refers to the mental and emotional exhaustion that comes from having to make a large number of decisions over a period of time. Ultimately, when the brain is faced with too many choices, the brain's capacity to make good, rational decisions begins to decline, which leads to poor decision making, indecisions, or we might avoid making any decisions at all. Literally every time during the day that you make a decision, whether it's what to eat, what to wear, what workout to do, your brain is expending energy. And as the day goes on, your mental energy for making intentional choices gets depleted. We might become tired or stressed, and so then we're more likely to make bad choices. And so when you create a daily routine, this gives your brain structure and means that you make all of these decisions beforehand. We already know what we're going to eat that day. We already know what workout we have to do. We already know what time we have to study. This clarity of your day takes away your brain's need to make daily decisions and allows your brain to then automate these behaviors, which then frees up mental space for more important tasks. Another reason building up a daily routine is so helpful is because it stops you from having to rely on willpower. Because when you have already made your decisions beforehand, you then don't need to sit there and spend time battling yourself. For example, let's say you've planned out your workout for the morning. Well, then you don't need to spend any time sitting there thinking about when should you do your workout. Also, do I feel like doing my workout? Because the decision is already made, and so all you have to do is follow through. This reduces your brain's mental load and will help you to keep consistent because you're not constantly having to use willpower to overcome your distractions or emotions. Let me give you an example of my current routine. Currently, I wake up at 6:30, I have a coffee, at 7 o'clock I do a 20-minute meditation, 7:30 I head down for a cold dip, at 8 a.m. I go for a 5k run, and then by 9:15 I've started work. And I pretty much do this routine every day, and so my brain knows what I'm doing tomorrow, and so I don't waste any of my brain's energy or time thinking about how I feel that day, thinking about when should I fit things in that day. Let's imagine I didn't have a routine. I can tell you what would most likely happen. I'd probably wake up, check my phone, think to myself, what should I do this morning? Should I go for a run? I don't know, kind of tired today. You know what? I think I'm gonna get another coffee. Then I grab my phone and boom! 1 hour of the morning is wasted looking at crap. Giving the brain too much freedom isn't a good way to set ourselves up for success. We need to make it easier for the brain by already having established structure of our day so that it can automatically start taking action. Like the example I mentioned at the start with brushing your teeth. This is an automatic behavior that requires little thought because it's just been embedded into your routine. And so when you structure your day to include your productive habits, let's say studying, exercising, maybe cooking a healthy meal, then your brain doesn't have to fight to find the energy or willpower to do them. It just starts taking action on these behaviors like brushing your teeth. And so maybe you're starting to see a bit of sense in what I'm saying so far, but you still have some concerns. I know what you're probably thinking. Won't following the same routine every day be too rigid? What about having fun and being spontaneous? I feel like I won't have any freedom. But these are actually common misconceptions that don't hold to be very true, so let's debunk them. Firstly, we should always look at our routine as a guide. It is is a structure that helps us to have some direction to follow every day. However, it doesn't mean that we have to be rigid or stuck in stone. Our routines can evolve and change depending on your goals, needs, or priorities at the time. For example, you might create a daily routine which mostly focuses on your working goals, but one week you might decide to change it up and focus more on your fitness goals. Over the last few years, my routine has changed a lot depending on what my priorities are at the time. But what has always stayed consistent is that I always create some type of structure for my day so that it makes it easier for my brain to then do these things and takes away the daily decision fatigue. Routines are not about becoming a control freak and never being able to change on a day-to-day basis. It is simply a guide to follow, but you have the flexibility to change your routine depending on your current circumstances. Another thing people often say is, wouldn't a routine make me less spontaneous and fun? But actually, routines paradoxically increase our freedom. For example, imagine that you had a routine that allowed you to constantly work on a work project that was very important to you. Well, once you have that structure in place and you complete your number one priority, you now have more time and space to be spontaneous in your personal life and go out with your friends because you've already taken care of your daily responsibility. And so now you can actually go out and truly relax because you're not feeling guilty thinking to yourself, oh, I needed to get that thing done and I didn't get it done, because you already took care of it in your routine. And so now you actually have more freedom to mentally and physically enjoy your life. Another way that I look at this is that when we build a routine where we prioritize looking after ourselves, such as making the time to consistently exercise or eat well, the results of doing these behaviors is that we feel good. We have more energy, we are happier, we are less stressed. And so then we go into our day with this good energy. Literally everything is better. Our work, our friendships, our relationships, our stress levels. And so being able to keep consistent with these good habits actually gives us the freedom and headspace to truly enjoy other areas of our life. We are not stressed, running around at work like a headless chicken or screaming at our partner because we have a daily routine in which we tick off those important tasks. On the other hand, let's take the example of someone who has no structure to their day because they want to have more freedom to do whatever they want to do. I can guarantee it will look something like this. They wake up, start scrolling on their phone, start lounging around the house, thinking to themselves, should I do a workout this morning or later? Nah, I'll do it later. But of course, later never comes. They may think that they have more freedom in the sense that they have free time and they haven't got a structure to follow, but this lack of structure often leads them to not spending their time very wisely. They start the day wasting time on their phone, feeling a bit lousy. Then they think to themselves, oh, I could have exercised in that time, but I didn't. And so now they have a little bit of regret. Then they start work for the day and they think to themselves, oh, when am I going to do that workout later? Yeah, when I get home, after I eat, when should I do that? And in the end, so much mental energy is being wasted by this lack of taking action because they have no structure to follow. You might think less structure creates more freedom, but when we have too much freedom, we often make bad choices that don't lead to us feeling good. We are leaving too much up to our brains to decide, draining our mental energy, instead of just creating a routine to follow every day, which then allows the brain to just automate these behaviors as all of our decisions have been made ahead of time. And so once these important tasks are done, this then allows us to enjoy more freedom in our day-to-day life. And so I hope I'm starting to convince you as to why building up a routine will be so helpful for your brain in staying consistent with your goals. So let's now get into 3 quick tips of how you can build up your own routine. The first one is start with small, sustainable changes. Whatever behavior that you're trying to be consistent with, you want to start small so that it's actually realistic for you to be able to do this every day. So for example, maybe you want to spend more time studying as you have an important exam coming up. Okay, well, could you start with setting aside 20 or 30 minutes each morning to just go over 1 or 2 pages of work? As the weeks go on and you keep showing up, you can gradually increase the time. Or let's say that you want to be more consistent with exercising. Okay, could you pick 2 or 3 days this week that you can schedule in a workout for? Even if it's just a 30-minute workout. The key to remaining consistent is that you need to slowly incorporate this behavior into your routine and focus on showing up on a daily basis instead of trying to overload yourself and burning out. Now, the second tip is to get clarity on your task and make decisions beforehand. Whatever behavior it is that you're trying to be consistent with, you need to have exact clarity on what it is and when you're doing it. Like I mentioned before, the brain does not want to have to make daily decisions, and so you need to make these decisions beforehand. For example, maybe your goal is to do more meal prepping during the week so that you have more healthy meals prepared for you every day. Okay, so go and pick all the recipes right now for the week ahead and decide what recipe are you doing on what specific day. Go and get all the ingredients and block off the exact time and day in your schedule as to when you are going to cook, so that all that is left for you to do on the day is just follow through. Another example is, let's say you're trying to be more consistent with an exercise routine. Okay, how many times this week are you going to exercise, and what exercise are you doing? Like literally, what is the session that you are doing? Are you running? How long are you planning to run for? Are you lifting weights? How many reps or sets are you doing? Plan out your exact session and when you are doing it, so all that's left for you to do on the day is just follow through. You need to start making it a habit of having exact clarity on what it is you're doing and when you're doing it, instead of leaving the decisions up to your brain on the day. Now, the third tip is to make a schedule every week. Get into the habit of just once a week taking 10 minutes aside to plan your upcoming week. You can use a calendar app on your phone, you can use a diary, or you can use your phone notes. That's personally what I use. But you need to start writing down your weekly schedule and routine so that you can actually see it. It's no use to sit and think about these things and say, oh yeah, I'm going to do this on that day, and I'm going to do this on that day, and do a workout on that day, but you don't even have clear structure and you don't remember what you're doing. Start becoming a bit more organized by just thinking ahead, and this is then going to help your brain to have that clear structure and direction to follow every day. I hope this video could have helped you in some way. Thanks for watching the video. All the best.